Good morning from Steph's Kitchen Adventures. So it's Saturday brunch today, and it's going to be a mixture of various things which I've started prepping. So far I've got in here some chopped leek, some red onion, a little bit of red pepper, just sautéing gently with some olive oil. So I've got that on about 4.5 on the induction hob at the minute. Then I've chopped up some aubergine, and this had some sort of blemishes in it. It was on its way out, so it needs using up. So I've just chopped it roughly, left the skin on, that will be all fine. So I'm just going to put that in next because that'll take a little while to cook. And mix that up in here. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit and put some more oil in. Aubergine absolutely loves olive oil, so it's fine to add lots of it. It'll just soak it up. So let's give this a go. This is special organic olive oil from Love Organic in Ringwood. So just going to slosh some olive oil on there and turn it up to 6, get it going a bit. Eventually, what I haven't got is just a little lid. Wait a sec. Eventually, I'll just need to cover it up so that it sort of semi-steams under the lid. But for now, I just need to get some heat and some action in the frying pan. It's at this point that I wish I had a bigger frying pan, but it's all going to be fine because it will reduce down a little bit. So just move that around, get that going. Meanwhile, I've got a stick of celery, organic celery, which I'm just going to slice fairly small pieces, slice it down there to start with. Not particularly elegant, that's fine. And just if that's good. I like to cook things fairly small, or cut things fairly small. I think they can mingle with everything else quite well when everything's in little cubes. So I don't know why, it just appeals to me watching everything turn into little cubes. So do that. I've got a cucumber next to me, which clearly isn't going to go in the frying pan, but we'll have that as a garnish, I think. So I'm putting celery in next. I just want to describe what else I've got around me. I've got some wonderful exotic mushrooms, also from Love Organic in Ringwood. I don't know the names of all of these, but these are rather lovely, little babies. And we've got the fairly standard kind of chestnut style mushrooms. I don't know if they're field mushrooms, but they're really nice. So I'll slice those up, ready. The others I'll just break in by hand, quite near the end, because they don't need much cooking at all. They just need stirring around with some olive oil. These, I'll give them a bit of a wipe. I don't believe in overwashing things. And so yeah, it's a beautiful morning. It's Saturday morning, and I think it is going to rain, but it's been lovely to see the sun the last couple of days. So that's a couple of mushrooms, just wiped. They're going to be roughly chopped. I'm not peeling them because I don't think they need it. You could if you wanted. Alright, where are we? I think it's time to add some spices from my wonderful pan drawer, which is actually my new spice drawer. So I'm going to start with some ground coriander. And about half a teaspoon, I guess. Then some oregano. I'll just shake a bit in from the pot. Dried oregano. some ground cumin, which is rather wonderful. I find oregano and cumin go really well together in things. I love the smell. Beautiful. And so we've got oregano, coriander and cumin so far. We'll shake some fennel seeds in there. Always good fun. Bit of thyme. I just buy the herbs in these little pots. Take them up the shop, just one swap in Boscombe. You can fill things up from the jars. So you can just take your own containers, provided they're clean, and I just write the name of the herb on the top, so I know what I'm doing. And then some smoked paprika. Smells amazing. Going to have a good teaspoon of that. I'm going to round it all off near the end with some sauce, which is starting off with almond butter and tomato paste. We'll come back to that. You see there's a couple of hard-boiled eggs there, which beautifully peeled by Roland, and they're going to be the finishing touch. I think it might be getting time. The main thing now is to just mix it all up a bit better. Turn everything over so the spices and the herbs get mixed in. Aubergines are doing well. See some nice colours and that lovely olive oil coating everything. I'm going to have to add a little bit more olive oil, but just mix it around, get all the spices coating everything. Yeah, more olive oil, definitely. I do prefer using olive oil. Just remember when you're using olive oil not to cook things on a high heat with olive oil, because it's not great for hot cooking. You want to cook things on a high heat, use avocado oil or coconut oil or butter or ghee. Right, I think it's getting time for the mushrooms to go in, so I'll add these larger mushrooms first. And with those, stir around, turn the heat up a little bit more again. Turn things over. So this is very much a veg-based brunch. Make sure you've got tons of veg, and the protein is going to take care of itself with the almond butter sauce, the hard-boiled eggs, and also some sunflower and pumpkin seeds on the top. There you go. I suppose it's the chopping that takes the time, but it's good if you've got a helper. You just need to be a bit organised with getting hard-boiled eggs cooked first. I'm liking the look of that now. Make sure all the mushrooms get coated both sides. And I'm going to cover that up for a minute. I'll add the more delicate mushrooms in a short while. I just want to get some steam going to really cook that aubergine, which will be all underneath, I think. Tuck it in under its blanket. Lush. I'm going to start with just a bit of garnish, which is cucumber, and it can also count as, if you're following eating food in the right order, cucumber will be useful for your veggie starter. It's great to eat foods in the right order, so vegetables first, then protein and fats next, and then carbs near at the end. But it doesn't matter if it gets jumbled a bit, but see if you can eat the veggie parts first. This is not very elegant. It will be yummy. Organic cucumber there. Maybe just a tiny bit more. Just give it a bit of freshness as well. I didn't want, you could, in theory, add your eggs raw and cook them through with this. I prefer to keep them kind of separate and hard-boiled eggs on the top. It also gives you the option, if you're like me and love mayonnaise with hot things, to add the eggs at the end and add a dollop of mayonnaise on top with some salt and black pepper, which I think is amazing, which is probably what I will do. So coming back to the pan, those other mushrooms are cooking quite nicely, so it's time to just tear in some of the more exotic mushrooms. These little babies, they're gorgeous. I'm going to put them in whole, I think. And these little white ones can go in. Beautiful pink mushrooms can go in. Sometimes you've got to check that the stalk at the end isn't too solid. Sometimes they can be a bit chewy. They may need to trim. These look absolutely fine. More of these babies. This week, I get these quite regularly, but this week I've got these interesting orange strands which I love. Some more of those. Another of those. Oh, I found some little black-tipped mushrooms at the bottom. Love those. That will be fine, I think, for now. Right, so I'm going to tuck all this in under a blanket. I'm not worrying about mixing the delicate mushrooms. They will steam nicely on the top. And I'm just going to turn it down and a tiny bit more olive oil. I like to be generous with the olive oil. Turn the heat down to, I don't know, 3, something like that. Tuck it all in under the lid. Could use a bigger lid, might be sensible. Works for me though. That can just do its own thing for a minute. I'm going to turn my attention to the sauce. So I've got here tomato puree and almond butter. I'm going to add olive oil. And a little bit more smoked paprika in here. My paprika spoon is there. Half a teaspoon or something. And I just want to acknowledge the filmmaker, the cameraman this morning, Roland. Thank you very much for filming, appreciated. So this is a little sauce that's going to come in just at the end. The next step will be, you see my lovely plate of herbs here. I've got wild rocket, parsley and coriander, and this is where my cooking with scissors is going to come in, which I love. Yeah, that's great texture now. So take off the lid, sauce to one side, scissors at the ready. So it doesn't matter if some are not cut incredibly small. I do love a handful of herbs. What's the point of just having a few herbs? I never see the point of that. So they're all just going in, stalks and all. If you get tough stalks on the parsley or anything, do remove them. They can go in cooking of something else that you don't mind stalks in. There we go, we're nearly there. I'm just going to combine with all of the herbs, fresh herbs now. And this is going to be incredible. There's no meat, fish or anything in there, and that's perfect really, almost as it is. Almost time for the protein part, I think. So I've got a couple of bowl plates that are ready. I like a bowl plate. put these scissors aside and start looking at plating up the garnish, cucumber. It's not the most artistic of arrangements. You might notice I've got a couple of apples there, which I've got to stew at some point. Good to make the most of all of the harvest. I think we're okay there. I'm going to get the hard-boiled eggs ready. To be a bit crafty with your fingers with these, so I put 2 fingers at the end and 1 finger just behind the cutting part, and that way I think it works quite well. Some of these eggs have really thick skins, which makes them not terribly easy to peel or cut. I've cooked these hard-boiled eggs bring them to the boil and cook them for about 7 minutes, and then you've still got this lovely yellow yolk and a bit of softness about them. So they are beautiful. Right, with the sauce, I'm just going to stir this through. Which in some ways seems a bit of a shame, because it's going to alter the composition and look. So I'm going to not over sauce that, but then mix it, give it a really good mix through, lift it up from the sides, turn it in so that it all gets coated in some of the sauce. We're just going to stir that around, so we're going to have a lovely oozy almond butter taste and texture in there, which should be quite amazing. I don't think we're going to have any trouble eating all of this morning, although you could make it stretch to 3 or have some leftovers, or you could always add more eggs to it if you prefer to have a couple of eggs each. Plating up time. A bit more on this one, I think. Okay. Then eggs on the top or on the side. So not terribly chefy. But some sunflower and pumpkin seeds on the very top, and that is about it. Salt and pepper to your taste. You can always add salt and pepper to the pan before you serve up if you wish, but there you have a lovely veggie brunch with whatever is in the fridge. And we're going to enjoy that now, and thanks very much for listening and watching, and appreciate it. Do hit like if you like it, and subscribe also, and great to see you. Thanks for tuning in.